lots and lots of auctions happening up and down the country throughout the year, so why not get in on the auction action by buying your home under the hammer? Well, people are always asking for tips about behaving in the auction room. Well, here are just a few. I mean, there are no hard and fast rules, but set yourself a budget. Make sure you can be seen by the auctioneer. And, oh, back to that budget, stick to it.
Yes, and if you do put a bid in, make sure you do it clearly and visibly, and don't go over your budget, because it will cost you in the long run. Let's find out what today's buyers got up to.
I'm in Leamington Spa at this 1930s semi that has a wee problem. It is sodden with, there is no other word for it, wee.
I'm in Plumstead looking at this 3-storey mid-terrace that has a loo with a difference. It's got a window.
And Lucy's making a splash at this plot in the Isle of Sheppey.
Let's not forget a boat. This would be a great space to house a boat. You've got the harbour 100 yards away.
All these properties have been sold at auction, and we'll find out who bought them and what they paid when they went under the hammer.
Sold 140.
Royal Leamington Spa, to give it its full name, is a picturesque town in the heart of South Warwickshire. Formerly known as Leamington Priors, its name changed in 1838, following the discovery of alleged medicinal qualities of its spring water. Although people no longer flock here hoping to be healed, it's still a popular tourist spot, and looking around, well, you can see why.
I go to my happy place.
Well, just a mile from the centre of beautiful Leamington Spa is the property I'm here to see. And it's on this street of 1930 semi, so you might be surprised, or probably not, to hear that it is, in fact, a 1930s semi. Guide price was excess of £125,000, which sounds OK. One thing I do notice, though, unlike some of these other houses, it hasn't got off-street parking. So that's one way you could immediately add value. Anyway, let's have a look. So, a very standard layout these sort of 1930s semi-detached houses have, which is good because you can take inspiration from what other people have done to them. This looks to me like it's been fairly untouched so far. Stairs up to the bedrooms, as I said, very standard layout. Here is your front living room, and this is definitely one of those instances when you are definitely better off where you are, on the sofa with your feet up or in bed or with a chocolate biscuit and a cup of coffee, rather than being here, because if you were here, you would be smelling what I am smelling. This room here, if you glance down at the floor, is sodden, and it is sodden with, there is no other word for it, wee. Now, you might think a bit of bleach on this and you'd be able to sort it out and the smell would go. Unfortunately, urine has a way of getting into the wood. It seeps into the timbers, often the timbers below. So there's no amount of scrubbing and polishing and sticking it full of disinfectant that's actually going to get rid of this smell. Often, the only way to get rid of it is actually to replace the floorboards, and probably make that decision early on and save yourself the hassle. It's really horrible.
I get a funny feeling every time.
To get rid of the doggy doings, there are some other options. Some people will recommend a biological washing powder or bicarb of soda. But on a scale such as this, I think you'd be wasting your time. Beyond the pongy problem, though, there is a nice living room with the added bonus of double-glazed bay windows. Heading away from the source of the smell, the typical layout continues with a small kitchen and a rear reception room next door. There are no prizes for guessing what my next suggestion will be. The first thing I would be thinking about doing is taking out that wall, opening up the kitchen into a kitchen living area here, and then second thing, opening up that into a big set of French doors, opening out into the garden. You don't have to do much more downstairs to really transform this place. So it is a blank canvas, but it's like one of those paintings where there's like the little outlines things with numbers on, so you paint by numbers. That's what it feels like. You just have to paint the numbers like similar properties elsewhere. The back garden is a blank canvas too, and there's plenty of room, so no problems finding space if you want to expand. Back inside, upstairs, is not in bad nick either. The layout, you know, like downstairs, extremely classic for this kind of house. It's 3 bedrooms. The bathroom is in the right place. It's upstairs at the top of the stairs there, which is good. You've got a little box room there, a nice-sized double bedroom towards the front, and a nice-sized double bedroom towards the back. One thing that's a bit of a pleasant surprise, you've got new double glazing, which is good. But it's really just a property that you're going to have to spend some time and effort just totally renovating and modernising. It's not too big a job, though I smell trouble with those whiffy floorboards. But what does an agent from the auction house that sold the property think of it?
Having looked around the property, the first thing that comes to light is the fact it absolutely stinks. The property needs mostly everything apart from the windows. The windows have been done, but the wiring will need checking. It'll need a new bathroom, a new kitchen, new decorations throughout, new floor coverings, and that's about it, really.
Yep, that's it. But the fabric of the house is sound, and 3-bedroom properties are always popular. So what could this house, guided at in excess of £125,000, sell for?
Resale value as a 3-bedroom property, once renovated, I would anticipate the property being worth somewhere in the region of £220,000 to £225,000.
Well, apart from the there's nothing particularly wrong with this property, and I think that will possibly have put a few people off. So hopefully it was a bit of a bargain when it went under the hammer.
I start with lot 87, which is, as you can see, a vacant freehold semi-detached property. Start me at what, 130? For lot 87, 130,000. 120 then, 120. Thank you, sir. 120 on my left at 120,000.
Unfortunately, our cameras didn't manage to catch the bidders for this auction lot, but the bidding soon gathered pace, and we rejoined at 190,000.
190,000, gentlemen seated. You coming back in, sir? At 190,000, it's being sold, make no mistake, at £190,000. 1, 2, 3. It is yours, sir. 364 for 190.
The successful bidder paying 65 grand over the guide price and getting the property for 190,000 was David. At the age of 23, this is his first auction purchase, and I wanted to find out more. David, great to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell me why you wanted to buy this place.
It's in a very nice part of town. It's not the most expensive part of town. I think it's a good kind of trade-off for, you know, what you get for your money. It's got quite a lot of land, quite a lot of space to it, a nice garden. So, yeah, I mean, it's really ideal.
Now, is this something you've done before?
No, I've just been working for about a year in a job, and so the first property I've owned myself, I've been kind of renting as a student up till 12 months ago.
Oh, great! What was the job? What is your job?
I'm a mechanical engineer.
Okay. So is your mechanical engineering going to come in handy, do you think?
I've got some ideas of the structure. I can see some bits from lectures coming through, but probably a bit too theoretical.
I'll take a sledgehammer. What can go wrong?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, I've got a slight yellow bit just there. That happened from a hammer.
Oh, no.
Last weekend.
Why? What happened?
I just knocked out an old shelf and...
It bounced back?
Yes.
Oh, nightmare. So are you DIY friendly, are you?
Oh, yeah, to a certain extent, exactly. But, not probably to the extent of plastering. I could do some tiling, but, within reason.
David, at the age of 23, has managed to get to this stage by sacrificing a lot of time with sheer hard work and determination, helping run club nights and DJing, amongst other things.
I've been working part-time for kind of I guess it would be kind of coming up to 6 years now, and I've even started a small business alongside my job in the last year. So my parents have redeveloped properties in the past, and it was kind of always my aim was as soon as I became a professional was to try as hard as I could to scrape it together.
So you did it the old-fashioned way, which is just saving hard.
Yeah.
Right. But this is the result of your labours, if you like.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have it.
Yeah.
It's of course, you can understand as you go through and you see the house more and more, you realise there's more and more bits you need to spend and more work to be done. But I still think when I first did the budget, I added in some contingency, so I hopefully, touch wood, think that I'll be within.
And then what about the overpowering smell of wee?
Yes. It's just a thing that we're going to have to sort out.
Could be a replace the floorboards job.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about. I was hoping that you could just take out the carpets, but it does look, if you look in one of the rooms, it does look like it's soaked in.
I've spoken to people who've had exactly the same, and they had to replace the floor. But, take up the floorboards, stick a bit of hardboard down, you'll be fine.
Exactly. It shouldn't take too long. I've got some very good builders, so touch wood.
There's a lot of touching wood going on here, have you noticed?
Yes, well, I trust the fact that my builders are pretty good and hopefully not too expensive from what they've spoken about so far.
Right.
So like you say, I've already started noticing where every time I touch wood, I'm eating into that contingency.
David has a healthy budget of 30 grand, not including his contingency. He plans to create a kitchen diner and build a small extension, and he has plans for himself and girlfriend Fleur to move in.
But I'd also like to rent out one room to one of her friends because she's still got another year at university.
Oh.
And so that way, it helps us kind of pay back a little bit shorter time scale for the mortgage. And obviously for her, it also means we can give her a slightly nicer place than some of the rental accommodation you can find.
What's the timescale for doing the work, and are you going to live in here while you're doing it?
We won't be living in here because we've got a set contract of where we're renting at the moment.
Right.
So that runs out in beginning of September. So that gives us about 10 weeks.
And then, is this the start of a big property developing career, do you think?
Well, we'll see. I guess it depends how well I can do it in this time round. If I do it very well and make some money, then potentially.
Well, listen, good luck with it all. I look forward to seeing how you get on.
Thank you very much.
So there you go, 23-year-old David getting into his first house by doing it the old-fashioned way. Working hard and saving hard. He's bought a good house, there's lots of work to do. How will he get on sorting that and the dog smell out? You can find out later in the show. 3-bed semi. It had a guide price of in excess of $125,000 and was in reasonable condition, apart from one slightly overpowering issue. If you were here, you would be smelling what I am smelling. This room here, if you glance down at the floor, is sodden, and it is sodden with, there is no other word for it, wheat. The doggy pong raised some worries. It could mean replacing floorboards, but it didn't put the bidders off on auction day.
It is yours, sir.
Bought for $190,000 by 23-year-old mechanical engineer David. David had worked hard and made a lot of sacrifices to save up for this, his first property, and he had it all planned out.
What we're hoping to use it for is for my girlfriend and I to live in, but I'd also like to rent out one room to one of her friends.
Oh.
And so that way, it helps us kind of pay back a little bit shorter time scale for the mortgage.
David was clearly a young man with his head screwed on right, and he hoped to get his property ready within 10 weeks and to a budget of $30,000. Well, it's now 7 months later and time to see exactly how David has got on. Wow, an excellent extension at the back has opened up this property. The once narrow kitchen has now been transformed into an open-plan kitchen diner with access to the back garden. Brilliant! What was once the front reception room is now an extra bedroom, and now the only smell around here is the sweet smell of success. Moving upstairs, the bedrooms are looking lovely. The entirely new bathroom suite also adds to the fantastic finish throughout this property. Outside is work in progress, but David and his girlfriend Fleur have done an incredible job here.
We put the extension on the back of the house. We've ripped everything out. We've had rewiring done. We've had plumbing done completely, new central heating system. We've put in a new kitchen ourselves, which was a bit of a challenge, but it was fantastic. Glad to have done it, saved us some money. We've put a new bathroom in. We've redecorated, new carpets, so the works.
They got tradesmen in to do the wiring and plumbing, which is a must. You should only ever use qualified people for those jobs. But I am amazed and impressed at them taking on fitting a kitchen. And then there was that other job to tackle.
So the front room smelt pretty bad when we got it. We didn't rip the floorboards out in the end, but we ripped a few out and we used some urine neutraliser, didn't we? And then some bicarbonate of soda and vinegar. It worked pretty well. And then we ended up yacht varnishing it.
Yeah, the bicarbonate of soda and vinegar was a great one. It's something Fleur found online that actually saved us quite a lot of money.
But before you get your bucket out, I know lots of people online like it as a green option. But bicarb and vinegar are not just two innocent kitchen ingredients. Put together, they create a chemical reaction, so you really should tread with care. Do thorough research and make sure you protect your hands and eyes and always keep the area you are working in ventilated. However, with one problem sorted, another unexpected challenge came about.
We didn't realise there wasn't anything in the legal pack to say that there was a drain that ran all the way through our garden, so underneath where we're standing now in the extension. And you need the water board's permission to build over their drains, which took us, it's an 8-week process. And so obviously that is pretty much what put us back. We're about 2 weeks extra for us messing about.
Well, property developing is always a learning curve, but David and Fleur have done an excellent job on this, their first project. They spent £35,000, which means an investment total of £225,000. So will two local estate agents think it as a wise investment?
My general opinion of the property is it's very well presented, it's much improved, and it's got some nice refurbishment features throughout.
I think he's done a very good job, actually. It's to a level that would let out quite quickly, I would have thought.
Well, David and Fleur are already letting out 2 rooms to friends, as well as living here themselves. The agents valued the rental figures at between £950 and £1,400 per calendar month. That top valuation would mean a yield of just over 7%, so what do they make of that?
That sounds great. But I mean, from our point of view, of course, the best thing is at the moment we're renting 2 rooms out, and we're getting a good rental whilst we're living here. So that's good.
They've come up with a clever plan here, creating their own home whilst being prepared to share means they can work on getting that mortgage down. But what if they decided to sell up? What would their 225 grand investment be worth?
With regard to the sales value of this property, I would anticipate it being £235,000.
I foresee the resale value of the property to be between £240,000, £245,000, with a marketing price of £245,000.
That top valuation would mean a pre-tax profit of £20,000 minus taxes and fees, which is very respectable. So how do they see the experience of property developing now?
Stressful but fun?
Yeah, stressful. Yeah.
It's been worth it. Worth it.
But, it'll be nice now to be able to, go into work not tired from working on the house the night before.
Yeah, have a bit more social time.
Yeah, that as well.
See some friends again or something.